All right, guys, this is Deanna here. This is week 1 of my self check-ins. As I've mentioned in previous videos, I'm now coached by myself, so I wanted to have a system in place where I could regularly do check-ins with myself. Thought maybe that other people might find some value in me having this documented. You can follow along with me. Kind of use it as a template for your own check-ins, but either way, wanted to just start to keep record of my training for myself so that I can go back and look at, previous weeks of training, or just to use it for myself to figure out, okay, where am I strong, where am I weak, and what do I need to develop further. So this video upcoming is from videos that I've taken from this week's training. I have a squat day, a bench day, a deadlift day, and then I have kind of a secondary bench day and auxiliary day, which I didn't get video for. But if you are interested in seeing how my first week of training went, keep watching. This is week 1, day 1, high bar squat. This set is going to be 240 pounds for a set of 4 at 8. I did intend for it to be a set of 5, but I apparently have some trouble counting in this set. I was really excited to get into the first week and first day of programming and lost a lot of my mental stability, clearly. But the good thing is, held to an RPE of 8. I struggle with that. I tend to really overshoot my RPEs, so that's going to be a big learning curve for me as I continue to do my own programming. Day 1 squat 2 was my box squat. This is 190 by 5. This again is pretty solid at an RPE of 8. A lot of what I'm trying to cue in both of my high bar and my box squats is to cue the knees to go outward and keep the hips really, really open while maintaining tightness on the belt in the hole at the box. I use box squats a lot to cue that upward chest positioning, as well as I tend to fold over and also to try to fix some of that good morning squatting that tends to go on. So I really like to use those boxes there. Day 2 was upper body day, feet up bench 115 by 6 at a 7. I like to do feet up for kind of that pivot week, that first session after a peak, just to, get everything into gear, not using the leg drive as much and just keeping it straight to the upper body. So did 2 sets. My first top set wasn't quite where I wanted it to be, in 8. Put a little more weight to 125 pounds on the second set and overshot that a little bit, which is pretty typical for me. I think sets of 5 and 6 are high volume. I know for some people that's not quite high volume, but for me it is. So those RPEs tend to get out of hand really quickly there. Second bench this day is the closed grip bench. This is 135 by 5. My shoulders were pretty roasted after the feet up bench, so that was quite an adjustment. Additionally, being on a commercial gym bench instead of a competition bench, I think it's important to try to get on a comp bench as much as possible, but in the garage I don't quite have as much accessory, so I was in the gym there. Day 3 this week was 1 1/4 squats before my deadlifts. I like to try to do 1 compound lift before my deadlifts to kind of simulate the feeling of a meet. I don't like to go in and deadlift cold. I like to burn myself out a little bit before deadlifts so that I'm accurate about where I am. So with these 1 1/4 front squats, you're going to see, again, very much similar to the squat variations earlier this week, trying to increase time under tension by adding in that extra half piece of the movement, as well as controlling breath at the bottom and cueing those knees out. Last but certainly not least, or maybe least, not sure, my sumo deadlifts. I don't typically lift sumo. My competition lift is conventional for deadlift, so this is 245 pounds by 5. Obviously I should be deadlifting a lot more than that, but I really struggle to maintain form in my sumo deadlift. This is something that I'm trying to teach myself and learn. So you'll see that a big weakness in my deadlifts is going to be in my lats. I have strong speed off the floor, strong glute and hamstring strength, but just completely get bent over at the top. That's coming from, having weak lats and trying to use my shoulders, trying to use everything I can, but my weak lats to get the bar up. So that's, you'll see some rows after this video to try and cue that and correct that. But this is my last set. This is 275 by 5. You're going to see me completely burn out, get really frustrated at the next pull here. Try to take a step back, take a breath, but still not quite figuring out how I can maintain the end of this session without completely being bent over before my pull. So that was number 4, and I guess number 5 is coming up here too.
So a lot of what I'm trying to do is learn how to set my back, learn how to keep my lats tight but also down. I tend to really shrug when I keep my lats tight rather than just let them do the job that they're there to do. So you'll see the rows next in the video. Those are going to be really low weight, but trying to maintain form and do that very slowly to increase the time under tension and just make sure I'm cueing the movement the correct way. So you'll see the rows here. I will be doing a lot more rows and a lot more lat development in the next couple of weeks to try and fix that weakness that's there. So you can tell I'm even craning my neck trying to do anything I can to cheat these rows instead of just do them the right way. So you'll see low weight, high focus on form and technique as we continue.
So that was week 1 for my first program. Next week you're going to see me drop the volume a little bit, up the weight a little bit, and continue to focus on my weaknesses, increasing the amount of time I spend on my lats, rows, that sort of thing, really focusing on isolating those and not cheating those rows. Additionally, more work on the squat to make sure I maintain that neutral back position while working a lot on my deadlift and making sure that my sumo continues to grow, because I know that's a big weakness of mine too. So if you guys are interested, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing weekly check-in videos with myself. If this has value to you, if you appreciated the video, if you disagree, if you hate me, if you love it, whatever, just make sure you comment, tell me your thoughts. I'm really curious to see if there's value here for other people. So appreciate it, guys. Have a good week and happy training.